I'm Chris McNutt. I'm a social studies teacher at Global Impact STEM Academy.
Great. What age students do you normally teach?
Ninth and 10th grade, primarily.
Okay. And what subject areas?
History and government.
Great. And when we were in your room earlier, we noticed that you had a method of trying to kind of have your students being further engaged with what they were doing. Can you explain what you do?
Sure. So I use gamification heavily in my classroom for every single unit. And really the goal of gamification is not just to integrate small little things to make it into a game, but literally transform the entire class into a game itself. So every unit that I have, students earn experience points. Usually it kind of differs unit to unit. Just like it was like a role-playing game, like back in the 80s or 90s.
And in the App Store today, which our students are playing for sure.
Yeah, so I mean, it connects back to what they hearken that's fun. So the basis behind this is kind of why would I play a game on the iPhone where I'm an air traffic controller? And it's something that's not fun at all. But yeah, I feel like I'm rewarded for doing it. What if we took that same exact idea and applied it to something that was a little bit more academic, and I would enjoy what I'm learning? So the basis behind this is that if I can make as many classes as possible into something that's fun to play and where I get instantaneous feedback that's positive, I'll enjoy the class a lot better.
So what does that look like as a student? So how do they earn these experience points?
So in my first unit, it's very basic just to introduce the concept. They earn basically 100 experience points for every assignment that they complete, so it's very easy to keep track of. And as they earn those experience points, there's a little table that they have, depending on what class they pick, and they earn different incentives for doing so. So it's just very streamlined. And then as we go on, it gets more and more complicated. Like for example, in a later unit, they have guilds, and their points are averaged across their entire guild to encourage them to collaborate. Because if our points are shared, I need to make sure that you're doing the work as well. And then there's a leaderboard, and there's different stuff like that.
And how do you keep track of all these points? What's your system?
Usually I just use Google Forms, or just Google in general.
So it's real time, and they can see it after you update it. How often do you update?
Probably weekly. It isn't really that hard because I grade it based on completion and effort, so it's nothing too crazy. Because the goal isn't to see if they're understanding everything for this, it's more are you trying and doing just over and over again, which is just like a game and how it works. Typically you repeat the exact same thing over and over again until you get it correct, so it's mastery based.
So what do the students, besides being on top of a leaderboard that you talked about, what do they get out of those experience points?
So I like to mix it up with a bunch of different kind of crazy stuff. It can be anywhere from just extra credit on a test, but I also like things like talking with another student during the test and asking for advice, cheating off another student. People really like that one. I like that one a lot. You could do ask the audience type stuff. I did one where it wasn't the class-based one, but it was later on where they all took the test as an entire group, as a team, and based on how many assignments on average were completed, there were whole class rewards, hints hidden in the classroom, literally, or things like you can take your questions up to me and ask me if that's right and that kind of stuff, and then checking it with the whole class.
So if you look at the grades and look at the experience points, is it fairly same curve when you're looking at the students? So is it generally the students with the highest grades have the most experience points and on down, or is there some variation?
I mean, there's definitely variation, but I found that after implementing this, I did this later on, not when I first started. Kids have a tendency to do more because they realize, hey, if I do all the work, I get extra incentives and it's easier. However, since you're doing all the work, the test was easier in the first place. So it's just kind of like a hidden way of disguising this is what you should be doing anyway.
To encourage them to work more and harder.
Yeah.
What are some things that you watch out for in the sense of anytime you're trying to do something new, right, as a teacher, you want to make sure you're being critical of the process of gamifying your classroom. So what are some of those things you want to watch out for whenever you're trying to do
the thing that you don't want to do, and this might go against kind of what you're saying in this, so I don't want to sound critical, but just adding in badges onto your class is not gamification.
Yeah.
Because every single thing that you do in the classroom that has to have a game aspect to it has to be something that's a challenge that you feel good for doing. So if you're going to give out a badge, it has to feel like I earned it and it wasn't just something stupid that I did on the side. It has to have that feeling of accomplishment. Also, consistently throughout this, making sure that students have some kind of voice in what they're doing, so it isn't just completely top down. Consistently getting feedback and I have at least a choice that I can pick 1, 2, or 3 on what I want to do. Okay. That's very important as well. Also, the biggest thing out of all of this, even past the XP points or anything like that, is literally making the classes into a game. That's the biggest thing out of all of it. For example, I'll teach mercantilism, which is about trading. Instead of just talking about it or them reading about it, which is pretty boring. We might do a little bit of reading, but then we'll play a game that demonstrates that, just basically adapting like a simulation or anything like that, and it'll work.
Either online or in person
Either
simulation.
online or in person. I find it's so easy, honestly, just to make like a basic simulation in history class with just like dice, that it's okay and it's pretty fun. It's more fun than if I were to talk about it, so that kind of stuff.
Great. So yeah, you set up these situations where it's randomized with dice and what they have to do or what situations happen. That's neat. How could this be? How do you think kind of your style of doing this? Could this be going through other subjects? Like if you're told you're teaching science or algebra,
Definitely.
tomorrow, do you have any other ideas on how other people?
Science has a lot of crazy stuff. The good news is that science actually already has a lot of the stuff available online.
Okay.
Like I know there's like multiple like role-playing games and like dice and card games that like teach like survival of the fittest and all these different concepts. Kind of like a lot of like where you take on the role of like animals or stuff like that. That works very well. Plus there's a ton of chemistry stuff that I've seen.
How do you normally see this? Like social media?
There's a lot of good stuff if you follow like educational blogs and stuff like that. Gamification's like a huge buzzword right now, or like NPR podcasts, stuff like that. Also a lot of great books that kind of go into like field guides for gamification.
Any that you recommend?
I know there's one called Gamifying Education, a field book. It's literally called that. I can't remember the name of it, name of the author right now, but that is definitely one.
And what are some first steps of someone who says, yeah, I want to introduce this into my classroom? And you've already said it needs to kind of be all in, but still, it could still start with a small bit of all in, right? So what would you suggest for someone who just wants to get into this? Or other teachers at your school to say, hey, I want to do something like this too. What would you recommend?
I would recommend not starting with the basic things. I wouldn't start with badges. I wouldn't start with experience points. Those things are systems focused. Those are things that would take place over the whole course of the whole year. That's like a huge development. I would just take a lesson that you think is super boring, or you think the kids will find super boring, and try to find your best way to make a game out of it. Like look back at like things that you've played or some kind of simulation or some kind of idea where you give them a challenge or some kind of focus-based activity and make it fun for them. I think challenges, you might think game, you might think like video game like right off, but literally just giving them like, if it's biology and they're trying to figure out like why an organism survives, like literally just put them in place of the organism, like how are you going to survive, and give them a bunch of situations. It's just rethinking how you look at the idea and make it fun. And that's really the most basic idea there.
To engage the students so that they're not seeing it as just reading a book or whatever, but they're actually, they want to get into that. They want to win. They want to
make it competitive or make it cooperative, make it some kind of thing where I feel like I'm actually having fun doing it, which sounds so foreign in education, to actually have fun while you're learning, but I think that should be a primary goal. I want to have fun in the classroom. And if I do, I might remember that information better, which makes me more academic in general.
Thank you, Chris. Yeah, thanks for your time.
No problem.